What is your service secret that you do to differentiate yourselves from the other 30, 40, 50 providers?
The very first thing is
Welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls, where culture meets commerce and the people behind our favorite places get the mic.
We're your hosts, Melissa Goodwin and Steve Schmidt, and we're sitting down with the makers, doers, and dreamers shaping the soul of our city.
From storefronts to side hustles, tattoos to tech startups, we are telling the stories that make Sioux Falls shine.
Because behind every business is a human story, and those stories, they're what make our community feel like home. This is Spotlight Sioux Falls.
what's up? Welcome to the IT Outlet. Y'all know Steve. I'm Kevin, and I'm the owner of the IT Outlet behind you. But first, our sweet corn patch. This sweet corn is coming in beautifully. And I want to talk about the sweet corn because inside this building, in the middle of nowhere, seemingly about 4 miles outside of Brandon, a couple miles, stone's throw from Corson next to the Marmon Propeller Factory, lies the IT Outlet. So, why here? From here. It was easy to come here when we bought the business that was in Sioux Falls, and it was on sale. The land was on sale, so we bought a bunch of it and planted some sweet corn and put a technology shop up. Because if you go all night, you might need some sweet corn. You own this whole sweet corn plot here. This lot here is all us. It's one of those things where when we moved out here, we squatted on it, and we didn't buy it, and then somebody came and said, hey, somebody wants to buy it, so we bought it, and we didn't do anything with it, and then we decided to put some sweet corn.
You also do a lot of fun things. I mean, you have your whole crew. It seems like your team is made of characters versus employees.
Yeah,
Any truth to that?
There's nothing more truthful about it. The group that we have inside, again, we hired a culture, right, and our culture is very much a easygoing, get the job done. Let's go inside and meet some of the nerds. Let's do it, bud. All right.
Hi, this is Steve Schmidt. We are out in Brandon, South Dakota.
Corson, come on. Like she's 70.
I'm just trying to avoid that word for certain reasons of basketball. Of course, it wasn't cool when we were growing up. It was like no man's land. Out here, I'm seeing nothing but industry. I am sitting with Kevin Huber, owner and CEO of the IT Outlet. Kevin, welcome to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
I couldn't be more enthusiastic to be here.
I believe that.
To have you here. Oh, we're not at your place. We're at my place. So I'm glad you're here.
I'm enthusiastic to be here. We all are enthusiastic to be here. We spent some time in your cornfield, Kevin. You have built the IT Outlet, not from the ground up, because you acquired the IT Outlet as an employee. This is a killer story. Let's tell Sioux Falls the background story of who the IT Outlet exactly is.
It's a great question. And one that's easy to answer is we're an integration company. So we do all things technology on a very enterprise level. So when it comes to the high-end data security and the machines and software that are needed to operate today's society successfully and safely, we're that go-to person for many folks across the country and the globe, for sure.
In particular today, I want to kind of focus on you do a great job in all areas of business that I've seen. I mean, I think you've got a great team on the enterprise side. They do a lot of big hardware, big compute, big backup solutions.
Yeah.
You got a good mid-market and kind of specialized managed IT group.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing to talk about that I think our audience is going to appreciate today is the small to medium business owner, the percenter, who is caught under attack because they traditionally were thought of as someone who had a lot of data, but suddenly we all have a lot.
Yeah, it's true. So back in 2006, when I started here, I was just a salesperson, just a sales guy. Actually, I was doing both. I was doing technical support and sales because of a small stint in a freshman degree from DSU in Madison. So when I jumped on, I kind of did a little bit of everything. I was employee 4 or 5. That's a long time ago, 06. So fast forward through the years, I, really became a leader in the sales business, found out that I'm great at, cultivating relationships, having conversation with people, just getting, to open up and have a conversation about anything and everything. So 2018 rolls around, we had the opportunity to purchase the IT Outlet and did so. And at that point is when we brought in the MSP side. So to your small and medium businesses that are out there, they're like, I've got IT, I use IT every day, whether it's computers or point of sales or whatever it may be, but you don't have anybody looking over it or helping you make good decisions on how to protect not only your data and your customers' data, but I talk a lot about you, the individual as an employee, is the person that's hiring you, taking care of all that stuff that you give them to become an employee. And so in that time of 2019, we fired up an MSP program knowing we had mm, multiple architects and very highly skilled IT folks in house already. So there was nothing in a small and medium business space that was going to stump us.
Yeah.
It was just offering great customer service. That was it.
That could stump a lot of people, though.
100%.
Yeah. What do you guys do right with customer service? I'm going to say one of my favorite stories I've heard on this topic in Sioux Falls. I'm not going to say the company, but when they load a printer, they bring it out and put a ream of paper in. And they say that makes all the difference in the world because nobody has to go, oh, where's the paper? Yeah. And I thought that's really interesting because that would over time, until you know it's gone, where's the paper? It just seemed like, wow, this is just always full. Right. What is your service secret that you do to differentiate yourselves from the other 30, 40, 50 providers?
The very first thing is what you as the consumer or the company looking to hire us. I want to set a contract on the table that's easy to read.
Yeah.
I never span. I don't need 40 pages of legalese and nonsense. Here's the meat and potatoes. Here's what we're going to do, and we're great at it. And here's a few references. So sign it and let's get to it.
Right.
That's the jam.
So you're easy to do business with from the get-go. That's always a huge point of friction for a lot of people. They get to the end of the sale, they're like, let's go. And they're like, crap. Now what? Now we got to put the contrast to go back for the red line. And I think for you, that is an identified roadblock in this business. Good job. What's the second one? I want to dive into that. But we're going to have some fun after this.
I think they always say 80% are showing up, right? And that when I say that, when I talk to our team and I say it when we talk about that, showing up, that means being there, right? When they need a request or there's something new or they have to, there's something exciting, but you also have to be there when it's not so good.
Yeah.
When the going isn't that great and there's a fire and their technology process and things aren't going right. You need to have people on your team or have coached your people in a way that they can go in there with a calm, cool, and collective mentality that, I'm okay making decisions under pressure. I think critically.
Yeah.
Right. If I had to say we try to really coach and process people in a way that says, how do you think critically in a moment of stress? And so when you're saving somebody from a $50 million ransomware, or you're helping somebody who lost a password to their email, it doesn't matter. You should have the same mentality going into that.
I would shit my pants if I was on the line for 50K. And you guys are doing it on the daily, right? Yeah. This is crazy to me. Okay, so consumers now call it small businesses. Consumers. We're also now, they come to us, right? And this is interesting because before it seemed like if you were a person, right, the bad guys can only get you through spam email. That's not the case anymore. They can get you through your bank account. They can get you through your non-2FA enabled Microsoft accounts. We're talking about the three most obvious things that people don't see. Yeah, they should be looking out for to keep their stuff safe.
Good question. And here's the biggest thing that I see small to medium businesses doing. They go down to Walmart or the local Radio Shack or Staples or whatever it is. They buy a router off the shelf because they need to have connectivity from their provider in their business, right? And on the back of it, it says, oh, your passwords, XYZ, 123, exclamation point, star, star. But every box in the store has the same password. And you just plug it in and use it, right? Myself, right? Good thing that IT Out has great integrity, but the people that are trying to not have good integrity, they can go by your office. They can see that you're broadcasting because you use the wireless and the router and the whole 9 yards. They see that, oh, you've got a Walmart whatever router. I know that their password is. So pretty soon they've logged on to your device, and now they're watching your credit card transactions from your customers go across the live interfeed. Guess what they're taking? That credit card information.
There's also home security cameras now that are enabled with Wi-Fi. So right side, there's home healthcare up with it. Yeah, and Oxygen is enabled by smart AI-driven things that can be compromised in a second.
Yeah,
well, no doubt. Why are we more concerned with that?
I think we've been drowned in the digital age that we live in, and we take for granted that everything is just going to be all right till it's not.
Yeah. Well, when it's not okay, it gets really expensive too. It's kind of like when you get a speeding ticket, right? Whoops, I didn't mean speed. Yeah. But a speeding ticket, like a security violation, can mean your reputation's permanently damaged for your customers if their financial information is stolen, if your employees' information is compromised or stolen. I'll be honest, I had this happen in real time. Here's the example that happened to us, a different one. We had a managed IT provider. They did not enable the 2FA side of what we needed enabled. That was supposed to be part of the managed service. During the middle of the night, about a month in, one of our softwares that costs a lot of money, we bought about $100,000 worth of contact data. We said, because we bought it on a deal, right? They came in and started taking on it little by little. What I didn't know was my mailbox was then being hidden. Anybody from my bank or anything was now in a subfolder. Yeah. It went on for 7 days so they could do their thing. I wake up and I go, our data guy goes, our credits are not. Where are our credits? Well, to them, they could resell them, right? So that's money. That's currency. To us, the vendor was awesome. In about a week, they decided to replace them because they could prove that that's what happened. But man, did I feel like that 2 days of, as a business owner, feeling like you could have just lost it all right there.
Yeah, violated.
Yeah, you just
Violate.
yeah.
Like, and somebody took advantage of it.
Why do I need to do it now, though? Because I also have said, and since then, a few times I haven't done the right thing, but most of the time have since. What is the thing that I need to hear from you to say, he's probably right. I should back up my data. I should get security installed within my corporation.
You hit all of them right there. Have a security posture, right? A firewall or something that helps you change the password on whatever device you bring in. Have 2FA set up on everything that you do. I know it's a pain. I know it sucks, but it's an absolute must.
Yeah.
And 3, have a good backup. Yeah, as a good backup will save the day if the first 2 things fail. Like,
Well, I thought we could maybe talk a little bit like a rapid fire segment. Have you ever watched SNL where they do like I don't have a piece of paper, a piece of paper or something, but like a what happens if? Yeah. So maybe you can tell me what happens if, different scenarios, right? So what happens if I'm a small business and I back everything up on Google Drive and I think I'm good? And what happened? What could be a what happens if I got everything on Google Drive and Google Docs and Gmail?
it's a good question. So biggest thing there is Google's a public-facing entity. So Google probably gets millions of attacks every day on their databases, on their people that have Gmail, and just the whole Google suite, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to hang your stuff out there, just be okay with if it isn't there the next day or if something happens or it gets, deleted. Like, you have to be willing to do that. You have to be okay with it, right? But most people don't necessarily know that. They think Google's safe, right? I got a free Gmail account. I get a couple of gigs of data. Like, all is well in the land. Like, I don't ever put anything personally from investments all the way down to crypto to my passwords. I don't let Google say any of that stuff. None of it.
Okay.
Zero. I have a Gmail, but that's like when I sign up for like DC skate shoes and I need an email, I get my Gmail.
That's smart. So I guess, is there a point where if you're just starting something up, like maybe you're one-man shop where you're like, hey, I got to figure out something besides Gmail, or is it ever safe? You would never.
I would never do it. Like, I'm not a believer in today's age. Now, 10, 15 years ago, sure, there wasn't the ability to brute force attack, our information and ability to hack or, break into something is far more advanced now than it was back when Gmail came out, and you got rid of your AOL.com or Yahoo when you moved to Gmail, right?
Yep.
So
What happens if I need a bunch of hardware and I just go on some used sites, cobble some stuff together because I need it really quick and fast, and Buddy and Sally can figure some things out because they got a little bit of IT background. What happens if I just cobble a bunch of stuff from the internet and it's sent to me and I set it up in the background?
do you know if the person that sent it to you put some sort of a way in once it gets turned back on to see what you have?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, happens all the time. You'll buy a device off of Amazon or something off of eBay or just wherever, right? And pretty soon you turn it on and you log in, at home or at work and you think it's all safe and you're checking your bank account and you're doing, accessing things that are extremely important, personal data, your employees' data, and all of a sudden all that stuff is taken, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know it's being taken until someone says, hey, my identity was stolen. That to me is, where it's fine to go do it. It's fine to buy something used, and not every device has that capability. Don't get me wrong. We can get way in the weeds into that, but if you're gonna buy something like that, especially like a laptop or a server or a desktop or something that holds data, not just passes data, but it would physically hold information. Yeah, it's easy to call someone like us and say, "Hey, can you just run a quick once over on this for $125 to save tens of thousands or yens of dollars going down the road? What a simple buy."
So you're telling me I should go on Facebook and get a MacBook Pro and exchange it in the Great Life parking lot with a guy?
You can, but you should bring me along.
What happens if I have some remote employees or an offshore employee and I give them like my password into some sites and then I don't know who has what. They have what they need, but I'm not sure where those things are at. What happens in those scenarios? Is there a way I should be thinking about that?
Depending on the site, good question, or the device, have a technology provider make dual access,
Okay.
right? So you get your login, right? And then you give this other person a login to it, right? And then depending on what it's doing or they are doing,
Yeah.
you can have a report drawn up from it, or you can gate access, right? You can only go to these spots once you're into my portfolio or into my company or you only get to go to X places. You only have access to that. So we do that here, right? Like we have we have, nerds all over this place, right? Our entry level, our newer techs that aren't, kind of new in the industry, and even our senior techs, our 20-year vets, they don't have access to my stuff. Our director of technology gates our stuff all off because of the sensitivity of the data we have, the communication that we put out. We don't let anybody have access to that. So only our tech director, when instructed by us, allows somebody to go in, and then we take a software and we monitor every place that they go while they're in there, right? Including the amount of time they spent, where they went, how much time they spent there, what buttons they clicked. It records everything.
Yeah.
Right. So it's probably a little aggressive for a small, medium business. But at the same time, when you're setting stuff up and you need to give somebody offshore access to your Facebook page, right? That would be a typical thing. I want you to build content, put it out there, right? Well, we're going to give you a separate login so we can see, because Facebook will be able to tell you when you logged in and logged out, like your activity, right? And you could see what was done, right? And that, allows you to, the crummy part is if you do decide you have to part ways, you can just delete thing right out of there.
Right.
There's no longer access.
That's smart.
You've canceled their profile.
Yeah. What if I'm, living in Rhode Island and I see this video and I'm like, ITL, it seems like pretty good people. Would you work with me out if I'm way up in the East Coast or? Yeah, it sounds like Guam.
Yeah, I mean, even if you and Elon make it to Mars, we'll service you up there.
Okay. Okay. So now,
Yeah.
what do you do? This is one as a parent I'm always thinking about because we have a young kid and teenagers.
Yeah.
What do you do to lock down or make sure your kids are okay from a security perspective?
Oh man, this is something I tell all of my friends. If you're giving your kids a phone, which is totally fine, like the idea that all kids shouldn't have phones and video games and all this, that I'm here to tell you that I still play video games. I turned out just fine. But when it comes to your kids, yeah, you're right. It's debatable. I get it. You're going to give them access to Snapchat, or you're going to give them Instagram or whatever it may be, right? Sign that up with your email and your information, right? So that every time they go to use that, or they put something on there, or they're interacting with it, or somebody's trying to interact with them, you're seeing it.
Yeah.
You're seeing it. You can physically log on to that application that's on your child's phone and see what they're doing. Really.
How do you guys sleep at night? I don't know how. I mean, do you worry about stuff constantly 24/7?
I do sleep pretty well because I'm heavy, so I fall asleep quick, and I eat good. But Mel, the honest truth is, we've had to quarantine computers from teachers that are sexually abusing kids to drug abuse to, criminal activity. It's stolen goods. Like, it's tough to make those phone calls.
Yeah.
Because you got to call parents, you got to call authorities, you have to go in there and be a part of the legal process. That's ugly.
Yeah.
It's ugly. It sucks. But the good outweighs the bad, right? Our world is a much kinder place than what the TV tells you.
Yeah.
So,
well, what if I'm curious about working at the IT outlet and I'm curious to talk about culture a lot and I'm not sure if I'm a good cultural fit?
yeah. Do you like golf?
I do, actually. I'm learning. It doesn't matter. That's it. That's all I have to do is golf.
No,
I was thinking you guys are always looking for good people. Yeah.
Nonstop. Good people are that's the golf club. So it's sometimes actually just a swing. We're always looking for good people, and then when they say good people are hard to find, they're not. It's just they're hard to find for your fit.
Sure.
And when we interview folks, one of the questions is, when I mentioned to Steve too, is like, what do you like to do in your free time? What kind of hobbies do you have? And I know that everybody asks, oh, what do you do? Or, but that's an indicator to me of either I'm a hermit and I'm in my house, or I'm a go-getter. I like to get out, I like to go meet, or I go mingle, or I'm on a bowling team, or I do, XYZ hobby racing or whatever it is. That tells me right there that you're melding into a group of people, right, that you have an interest in, right? Like if we both like to go sprint car racing at Huset's and we're out there racing at Huset's, we start to have to interact and mingle with those people, and we're okay with it because that's the kind of person we are. That's going to tell me right away that you're okay with coming into something you like to do, like work in IT, and then you'll meld into our group of people, right? You'll take on the persona of our company, right? And wear it as a badge of honor.
Last question. What if I'm a company that I'm not sure if I need you guys? How would I know if I should call Kevin or if I should reach out and pick up a phone number for IT outlet? Like, I don't know. Like maybe I own a couple of salons in town, or maybe I'm like, I don't know. Do I really need these guys? It seems like a lot of horsepower.
Right. And I get that. I think a lot of people in a smaller setting definitely feel like, we're just too small. Like if I'm willing to sit here and tell you that your home, you need to protect that and what you do in there, you most definitely need to do that in your business. So if you don't have somebody that you can call, you don't necessarily need to hire us or have a contract. But if you'd ever created a relationship with somebody that does IT, you need to have that. No matter, every person walking this earth that's an adult should have someone that they know they can trust that says, hey,
Yeah.
I have an IT question, or I have a concern, right? Some people come to me and ask me about barbecue smoppers. Yeah, that's a good spot to come ask. I know a lot about stuff.
Barbecues or IT. Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad that we know you. And I already wasn't sleeping that great at night, but now I've got a lot more things to worry on. So thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. Yeah.
All good. It's Kevin, and this is the IT Outlet. Let's go see.
All right, let's check it out. This episode of Spotlight Sioux Falls is sponsored by Magnetic. We help businesses grow through content that stands out and software that scales your conversations. Not sure how to build your pipeline? You can find us at magnetic.services. Magnetic.services. Your pipeline will thank you.
All right, this place is fully secured and locked down. Only a key fob your change. Otherwise, you have to ring a doorbell. This is our staging and warehouse service. So anything and everything that we put together comes in and goes out of here. A good variety of projects that go on. You can see IDM, you can see Cisco, you can see Chromebooks, you can see anything and everything. To ship out of here, we've got a loading dock this way for our semi-cap LTL packages, which again, we ship around the globe. So we try to have all the things necessary to ship internationally, ship locally, and you got to have a washer and dryer. That's in case it was a long night, you need to freshen up. You can do your laundry here. This is where all the nerds hang out, and is really the most important people in our company. As without them, the technology that we supply and provide wouldn't. If people have questions, these are our folks. So,
Guys.
To have a bunch of dudes right there. Lunchroom. Obviously, we had our wall painted, and if you look conveniently over the eye, you're on camera. Right about that. It's the eye. All right, so popcorn machine. We keep our fridges stocked with sodas and all that kind of stuff. So we bring out support with everybody's look at. This here, this sign right here. So for any of you watching this, if you ever come to the IT Outlet and think you'll leave without signing this, you're sorely mistaken. This was the old skin from our building that from we glued out when we bought the company. We took the sign out of the front yard and we shoved it around town to, the bars, the Sunshine, grocery store. We hauled it everywhere, and we just left it there overnight or for a couple days. And we just had people that were cool enough and they wanted to sign it. They signed it. Shockingly enough, we got I think Juice WRLD's on there. I think Mac Miller signed it. Prince Philip was here and signed it. We obviously know that didn't happen, but it's sure funny to see it up there. So, and by the way, love you, Mom. Kevin's mom. This is really cool. I'm chatting to the guy at Folkerts. I forget his first name.
Dixon?
Yeah, so he did all these like major stops in Sioux Falls. Like everybody knows the Cathedral or Central Fire Station or the Orpheum or the State Theater, right? Bob's Cafe. Who didn't eat chicken or a burger at Bob's Cafe? You know, I mean, come on, man. A greasy stool with a greasy basket. The best. All right, let's go upstairs. Check it out up there. All right, so we're upstairs. This is where a lot happens for the most part. Busy people, business out here, and business conversation. A lot of good things get discussed in here. The table is first and foremost the biggest piece in here, and the one that gets talked about the most. We do get a few questions about the weird alien in the corner with the sombrero on. And if you look inside of his hat, he's got money up there, so be careful. There's a few $100 bills up there, I think. I don't know if they cash or if they're...
Tell us what your table is.
State South Dakota. There it is. So this was something we thought about. We wanted to do half metal, half cherry walnut, and it's like a resin table. And if you look closely underneath the table, the way that's made, okay, the bracing for it was actually the original design of the first bridge that connected East and West South Dakota. So it's built the same way they built that bridge. This here is a World War II 48 star flag. So my great-great-grandpa, this Drake, his casket. So you're looking at, again, the heartbeat of our company was sales and, some accounting and technical service. We've already taken a look at the mezzanine here.
Okay.
We gotta go see. Sometimes it's just fun to come over here and kind of look. You feel like Simba off of Lion King, I think, a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but it's kind of fun to hang out and look over. Just the stuff, what we're doing, who we are, right? It's just different. It's a different look. It's fun to. Sometimes I have to pinch myself. Oh man, what am I doing? What am I doing? Love it, though. Very sad.
We're in this room right here.
Yeah.
One of the cool things is this is a golf simulator. So Kevin has created a culture here at the IT outlet that, let's just say, isn't the norm. And the norm being great cues, stale culture, a little bit of stale Dale coffee, and you don't see anybody because I know I've worked at an IT place just like that.
Yes, I mean, it was bad, but I couldn't wait to get out of there. What attracts you to a business? I think that, that says a lot about how you get up every day and you look at going in. Like, what am I going into, right? Is it a train wreck? Are people disgruntled? Nobody's happy. Everybody hates to be there. Everybody just wants to swing the door and do the bare minimum from, 8 to 5 and then go home. And I just put up these people every day because that's who I'm forced to work with, right? Not here, right? It's culture. We hired a culture. So the first 3 or 4 people that we had, this is our team. Now we're going to keep adding on to that same kind of mentality, right?
Yeah.
So we interview you, Steve, and we say, Steve, you're a great fit for our team. First and foremost, the rest of it will all fall into place.
Yeah.
Really.
Like, what did you get wrong first before you got it even remotely right?
The lessons learned in managing people, the process and the business itself and what we do and provide as far as a technology integrator is people. Like, people are that's the toughest thing to understand. And if you don't have a vested interest in your people, they're not going to have a vested interest in the goal and what we're trying to do as a company and where we want to go and who we want to be.
Yeah.
All the more reason to focus on culture and really try to drive that home. And it is tough because not everybody has their best stuff every day. Yeah. And you have to understand that. But the body of the work and the body of the person outweighs the 1 or 2 days where you don't have your best stuff. But biggest mistake was not hiring the culture. was just hiring because you had a great skill set.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring you in. You're gonna do X for us, but you don't fit in with the team. One piece of advice I would say is, have some good questions that the answers to about your team to see if you get that response from the individual you're looking to hire. Like around here, what do you do for fun?
Yep.
What do you do for fun? Like, I already know what your resume said, right? What are you gonna do for fun? Right? When you got free time for yourself, what do you like to do? Somebody says they like to golf. Well, just so happens we like to golf around here too.
Thanks for listening to Spotlight Sioux Falls.
These are the stories and the businesses that shape our city. If you heard something today that made you smile, made you think, or maybe reminded you of someone you know in your neighborhood, please share it.
That's how we support local. That's how we grow. And if you know a business owner we should feature, or you want to tell your story, reach out.
Until next time, we're Steve and Melissa, and this is Spotlight Sioux Falls, where local stories get the stage they deserve.
I mean, what do you want to do? We do happy birthday. We could do,
We could do just about anything. We should do a podcast. It's like,
down on the blue dots, hanging down on the blue down the street. You